This 23-year-old Ukrainian woman fled a country at war to live a safer and better life in the United States. But recently, one evening heading home after work, her life was ended in the worst possible way.
Tonight, we're looking at TikTok videos that will scar you forever.
Did you know Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson sold his soul for 20 years of fame?
Thank you to all the channel members for support. Today's pin of doom comes from one of my channel members known as Queen Aphrodite 420. She says subscribe, follow, and comment. Share this out to the last person you texted in your phone. Don't matter if it's your grandma. For that, she gets 3 big let's goes. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Can I show you a scary video? Make sure you pay very close attention to this one because you might miss it.
Guys, beaches all across the US just got shut down over Labor Day weekend because the water literally tested positive for something that you don't want to know. They just found unsafe levels of fecal bacteria in the water. Yes, that means exactly what you think it means, and it just showed up in water tests all across the country. So imagine just for a second that you're one of the people getting ready for the last big weekend of the summer, and then officials are like, yeah, don't touch the water. The ocean basically just failed its annual health inspection. They're saying that Cape Cod, Long Island, California, Florida, and even Hawaii all just had their beaches flagged. Like, you can't escape this. This is coast to coast. These scientists have found that 61% of the beaches that were tested had at least one day with dangerous levels. That's more than half the beaches in the country. If you're wondering how this happened in the first place, they're saying that the heavy rain washed nasty stuff into the water, and then the sewer systems leaked, and then straight up sewage overflowed into the ocean. The risk of swimming in this right now are no joke. There's a warning that you can get infections, stomach bugs, rashes, basically all of the souvenirs that you don't want to get on your trip. And then officials are giving out another warning saying do not swim for 72 hours after rain. And then they're saying that if the water looks cloudy or if it smells a little bit weird, don't cannonball into it. Maybe just stick to the pool this weekend.
Dude, I don't even know if the pool is that much better because people usually pee in pools and stuff like that. So no matter what, you're kind of cooked, but
If you shop at Walmart, your experience is about to get 10 times worse. I'm sorry. Basically, they're switching all their lights, their fluorescence, to 10,000 Kelvin. Now, you may not know what that means. 10,000 is the coolest, bluest artificial light that we have. It's not natural. It's not in the natural light spectrum. It's terrible. When we're in 10,000 Kelvin light, it makes us anxious. It literally puts us into fight or flight mode, triggering the amygdala. So when you're in fight or flight mode, you can't make rational decisions because all decisions in your brain are made with the amygdala, which is the fight or flight, fear, all that part of the brain. This is on purpose and intentional because if you can't make rational decisions, then A, you're going to be a very fast shopper because you're anxious and your body is screaming at you to get out of whatever unnatural space that is that has the 10,000 Kelvin lights. And then 2, it means you're going to overspend because you're not going to be logically making purchases. You're just going to grab things because your heart rate's going to be increased. You're not making good decisions. So basically, if you didn't like going to Walmart before, you're really not going to like it now. I feel bad for the employees who have to work in the 10,000 Kelvin lighting all day with their body screaming at them to escape whatever this is, and they cannot.
to me, it's always crazy how the smallest things can trigger certain things. For example, how the lighting in Walmart can trigger a fight or flight response in your body. To me, that is actually kind of insane.
Scariest videos ever found on the internet. They were just playing at home in California when her son suddenly started pointing to her head and quietly saying something that made her freeze.
Take off my head?
Yeah.
You want me to take off my head?
Yeah.
Why? Do you know what'll happen if you take off my head?
Yeah.
She tried to laugh it off, but he stayed completely serious, like he wasn't pretending at all. And when she asked what he meant, he reached out, grabbed her head gently, and started laughing. She later admitted she believes he might have been an executioner in a past life, and she never posted another video like it. But this one keeps resurfacing, because if you listen closely, it doesn't sound like a child's imagination at all. Her dog started barking like crazy the second the garage door opened by itself, even though she was completely alone in the house. And you can tell from the way he kept pacing that something was off, like he felt something inside. She explained that the door has a keypad lock, so it's hard to get in without the code. And as she slowly started moving closer, thinking about going inside, her dog suddenly jumped back in fear and refused to go near it again. And he looked completely nervous. She posted an update saying nothing changed, but now her dog refuses to even walk past that part of the house. And every night around the same time, she hears a soft clicking sound coming from the garage, like someone trying to enter the code. She was just lying in bed when she heard someone knocking hard on her door, like they were desperate to get in. And it sounded exactly like her sister, but she had just texted that she was out for the night, so she knew something was off. And even though the knocking eventually stopped, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. And she posted an update a few days later, saying it came back again. But this time she decided to confront it, so she opened the door and there was no one there.
This is the first picture the world has ever seen where Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un are all together. And the significance of this gathering cannot be understated. Today, we witnessed China put on the largest military parade in their history. All major roads were closed, schools were shut down, and they even had weeks of midnight rehearsals and security preparations to make sure that today went off without a hitch. One by one, world leaders started arriving, most of which are the names that you would expect, like Kim, Putin, etc. In fact, for good old Kim, it took him 20 hours just to get to China, because he got there on his infamous slow armored bulletproof train, traveling between only 45 and 80 kilometers an hour. However, also attending were world leaders that in the past few decades, they lent more to the West, like Turkey, Egypt, and Vietnam. In fact, no Western leaders attended apart from two. We're looking at you, Serbia and Slovakia. And when Donald Trump saw that Putin, Kim, and Xi were having a 2.5-hour private closed-door meeting, he tweeted this: "May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States." Now, it wasn't just what they spoke about that will be of concern of Western leaders watching. It'll also be the new weapons that China unveiled. These included new powerful laser weapons capable of taking out swarms of drones, burning electronics, or even blinding pilots, new nuclear ballistic missiles with a range capable of striking US mainland, giant underwater unmanned drones, and also a number of weapons which display China's heavy investment in the future of warfare, including drones, smart tanks, AI-assisted weaponry, and of course, even robot dogs. In fact, today on Chinese social media, all of the top searches were about the parade and its weapons, including the fourth one talking about their new ICBMs having the striking range that covers the entire world. But for Xi Jinping, what means more than showing off new weaponry is showing off a new world order, one that challenges the West and its allies, but also one where China is positioned right in the center. In fact, in Xi's speech overlooking the military parade, he said, "The rise of the Chinese nation is unstoppable. Strength may prevail for a time, but over the long arc of history, it's reason that wins." So the question is Donald Trump's foreign policy pushing these countries together to strengthen their relations? Or was what we saw today inevitable and would have happened no matter who was in office?
Respectfully, I definitely think the tariffs is what mainly caused that. But y'all also got to remember, China has been around for damn near 4,000 years. Like, China is one of the longest reigning empires of all time. And America's only been around for like 250 years. So I feel like China inevitably is going to surpass America. But we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a future teller, but...
There's allegedly a hot mic moment that was captured between the Chinese President Xi Jinping and the Russian President Vladimir Putin on September 3rd of 2025 during the big military parade event that was happening in China. Now, the two leaders, who are both 72 years old, were walking towards Tiananmen Square alongside North Korean leader Kim Jong-un when the exchange was inadvertently broadcast by the Chinese state media outlet CCTV. In the footage, Putin's translators heard saying in Chinese that biotechnology is continuously developing, following an inaudible comment from Putin to Xi. And then the translator continues saying, quote, "Human organs can be continuously transplanted. The longer you live, the younger you become."
发展，人类的器官会不断的移植，甚至越活越年轻，甚至会长生不老。预测呢，本世纪呢，可能未来可以活到150岁。
Did you know Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson sold his soul for 20 years of fame? In the late 90s, he was an unknown wrestler. Then suddenly his career exploded. WWE, Hollywood, millions of fans. People whispered it wasn't luck, it was a deal. They say the price was clear: 20 years of fame, strength, and muscles. 20 years without defeat, he became the symbol of The Rock. But the devil always collects his debt. In 2024 and 2025, he suddenly appeared in public looking exhausted, skinny, without his legendary mass. Fans were shocked. Where did his rock go? And the scariest part is what the contract said. On the 20th year, you give back everything you were given. Now people are asking, is it just age and stress? Or has the terrifying payback for a deal with the devil already begun?
So for those of you that are actually employed and have no idea what's going on, so pretty much The Rock kind of looks like this now. And everyone is like, yo, he usually looks like this. So we're just kind of like, some people think the devil came back for the contract, kind of like what that video was talking about. But at the same time, some people are just saying that he has a heart condition, and then he also stopped taking his steroids. Him looking like this is a lot more original, a lot more organic than him looking like this.
The way the doll's hand moves closer towards its chest seems extremely precise and is quite scary to watch if this really is a ghost doing this. There could be some sort of string attached to it that we can't see. But what do you think happened with the doll? Was it moved by a string? Was there actually a ghost in the room that moved its hand? Or is this doll in fact possessed? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The G-Team Paranormal Investigators are a group of YouTubers that explore various different abandoned and haunted locations in the hopes of catching something paranormal on camera to a large audience. In an upload of theirs published online on March 2nd, 2019, the team goes exploring around what seems to be some sort of a cemetery, as many gravestones can be seen on the ground. For a while, nothing out of the ordinary happens, until the person filming captures something absolutely hair-raising. Have a look and see.
I don't get scared very often. What the hell is that? What is that? Is there something right there? What is that? I don't know. Looks like a dark figure. Stacy, am I fucking seeing things? What is that? Was that a tree or was that something else?
I don't think that didn't look like a tree to me.
There's something there. Is that, what is that? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? I don't know what that is either.
Just moments before the dark figure can be seen, if you listen extremely carefully, you can hear what sounds like some sort of growling coming from nearby. It is just a few seconds later when the team captures the dark figure, which seems to be sitting down and causes them to understandably get freaked out. They begin to slowly walk away from it, and it is never seen again in the video. What do you think was captured on camera at the cemetery that day? As always, all of your ideas and opinions are greatly appreciated in the comment section down below. Erwin Saunders looks like your everyday wilderness adventurer who likes to film himself exploring various different locations. In this video that he uploaded on September 30th, 2017, Erwin starts to talk to the camera in a sort of rushed manner. He goes on to talk about something that he has been seeing in this forest, and it doesn't take too long before we get to see what he is talking about. At around 6 minutes into the clip, Erwin points his camera behind him, waiting to capture something on camera. in a matter of seconds, the strange creature appears, which doesn't seem to startle Erwin in the slightest. In fact, he almost sounds happy to see it. Have a look and see what he filmed.
I think I've got the right spot. Hold on. Yeah. Ah. He was just there. Ah, you see? That was a quick glimpse there. Ah. Okay. He's not there. Oh, sorry about that. He was doing. Oh, there he is. Okay, let's. There. Ah, well, at least we've got a shot of one. Let's keep it up there.
The small creature that you just saw is presumably that of a pixie, which is a mythological creature in British folklore. It is said that you can find them in areas of high moorland areas, and seeing as how the forest that Erwin is in looks very mossy, this makes a lot of sense. It's certainly hard to debunk the idea of this being a pixie, seeing as how it looks exactly like how they are usually depicted in folklore. Of course, this could be some other creature that happens to look like a pixie, but it wouldn't be too much of a surprise if it was eventually revealed that this man captured one of the most interesting mythical creatures on camera. Some people speculate that this pixie seems to be moving a little bit like a puppet, therefore being a hoax. But most people seem to be astonished by this video, claiming it to be the real deal.
If that's truly a real video, then that's a really brave dude, because like, how do you just have your back turned to that unknown creature?
Esto claro, mientras se mueven las cosas y aparecen fantasmas.
Daryl? Good boy. Good boy. Daryl? What is that?
Dude, that genuinely jump scared me. Cause at first I was like, what the hell is going on? And then out of nowhere, just, yeah, nah, dude. Freak you, man.
Look at this. Now look at this. Now look at this.
Bro, police just found a man living in the crawl space underneath someone's home in Portland, Oregon. And what this brother was doing was way beyond squatting. He was standing 10 toes down. He had a bed, string up lights, televisions, chargers, and even a freaking PS5 all plugged into the condo's power source. Through an extension, he ran through their vent. And you know what's even crazier? Police were called to this property after a witness reported seeing a man who was not known as a resident parking his car and walking towards the back of one of the buildings. Bro had a freaking car. And it somehow gets even crazier because when police arrived, they discovered that the owner's keys, which unlocked the small door opening, didn't work. That's because this guy, yes, changed the locks on their doors. Now, when police broke through the door, they discovered a 40-year-old man named Benaiman Bakur just chilling inside. A freaking meth pipe was also found in the space. So next time you hear a strange noise coming from your attic or crawl space, it could be nothing. Or it could be a 40-year-old man playing Fortnite.
These are the scariest TikToks. Scroll right now if you're easily frightened, because these TikToks will make you quiver. Coming in at number 1, we have Frog Baby Raw. Some interesting thing going on here. I don't know what's happening, but it looks like they're snacking on a little remote. Pretty creepy if you ask me. Coming in at number 2, I can't read that name, but someone here is eating something. I don't know what it is, but it's very scary. And coming in at number 3, we have Apron, which I don't know what's going on here, but oof, gives me the heebie-jeebies. If you want to see more scary TikToks like these, follow, like, comment, and share for part 2.
By far the most convincing evidence that I've heard for us being in a simulation is, you know, that S that just appears everywhere, the one with like the 3 lines and then the 3 lines and then the triangles that has just been showing up all throughout history, all throughout the world. That S that's been showing up in schools everywhere, somehow just everyone knows it. So the theory is that that S is the logo for the company that runs our simulation. And that...
So for those who are confused like me at first, she's talking about this S. Like, I don't know, I've seen this S since I was like a kid. I remember my cousin used to draw this S up all the time. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? So I've been seeing this S forever. So when he said that, I was like, low key. When you heard about it, you might have been like, I don't really know what S he's talking about. But once you see it, you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that S like 100 times. Let me know if you've ever seen that S.
Top 5 common habits that could kill you. Number 5 is biting your nails, apparently, which I've done my entire life. I'm still here to talk about it. And they say it's because there's bacteria under your nails, and when you bite it, you ingest it. And I'm like, what is under my nails? Did I scrape my fingers across a bunch of arsenic? I don't think so. Number 4, bad posture. I don't know if this can kill you. It can turn you into the bell ringer from Notre Dame if you're not careful, but I don't think bad posture is going to kill anybody. Maybe they're bending over so far they fall on their head. Number 3, sleeping with the lights on. How is that going to do anything to you? Number 2, sitting too much. This one is actually real. If you sit and are too sedentary in your life, you can actually restrict blood flow in your body. It's bad for circulation, it's bad for your heart, your brain, everything. If you like this list and want more about other nonsense, follow me. Leave me a comment with an everyday habit that could kill you. Also follow my wife, Samantha, who I've tagged. Number 1, eating too much sugar.
The Batman. On June 28, 2008, 17-year-old Asia LaShawn Ferguson visited Six Flags Over Georgia with his family and church group. The Batman was an inverted roller coaster where passengers' legs dangled freely below the track. During his ride, Ferguson's hat flew off his head. After the ride ended, he wanted to retrieve it. The hat had landed in a restricted area beneath the roller coaster tracks. Warning signs marked the zone as off-limits. Ferguson climbed over 2 6-foot fences to reach the area where his hat had fallen. As he searched below, another train approached on the track above him. The train was traveling at 50 miles per hour. A passenger's dangling foot struck Ferguson in the head. The impact was instant. Ferguson was decapitated. Witnesses saw the collision. The train continued to the station, while Ferguson's body lay below. Six Flags temporarily closed the Batman ride. It reopened the following day. The park added security around restricted areas and more warning signs. Ferguson's death became one of the most graphic roller coaster fatalities in recent years. The Big Dipper. On May 30th, 1972, a warm Tuesday afternoon in London, schools had just broken up for half-term, and Battersea Fun Fair was packed. The Big Dipper was a wooden roller coaster that had been operating since 1951. 3 cars connected by a steel cable. The cable pulled the cars up a steep incline, then gravity did the rest. Around 2:30 p.m., 31 passengers climbed aboard, mostly children and teenagers. At the front rode a brakeman whose job was to control the brakes. The train began its climb. Then the haulage rope snapped. The train hesitated at the top, then started rolling backwards. The brakeman lunged for the brake lever, but nothing happened. The brake system did not respond. The safety devices that should have stopped a rollback were missing or broken. As the train picked up speed, it hit the curve at the bottom at full speed. The wooden track couldn't handle the force. The first car jumped the rails, smashed through the barrier, and plunged 15 feet. The other 2 cars followed. Passengers were thrown from their seats. When the chaos ended, 5 children were dead, and 13 others were seriously injured. Later, a 15-year-old girl who had survived the crash was standing on a wooden walkway when the platform collapsed beneath her feet. She fell to her death. The subsequent investigation revealed 66 safety violations. The rope was in poor condition. Most safety devices were missing or broken. Investigators also found that employees had been drinking and using drugs while working. The ride's manager and engineer were later acquitted of manslaughter charges. The Big Dipper was torn down, and Battersea Fun Fair closed by 1974. Britain brought fairgrounds under safety laws following the incident.
Creepy, uncanny footage that will send chills down your spine.
How could I sound anything silly? I'm plastic. I don't even have a voice box. I had to borrow this one. Don't turn on the light.
Are you going to kill me?
No! I mean, yes, but...
This elderly woman is about to unalive her husband, and I have a feeling you're gonna be okay with it. Now, the woman's name is Ellen, and Ellen is 76 years old, living in Florida, but one day in 2022, she runs into a huge problem. Her husband gets really sick, like deathbed sick. Now, her husband is this guy, Jerry. And him getting sick is devastating for Ellen. I mean, she loves Jerry a lot. I mean, they're a lot like Ellie and Carl from that Pixar movie Up. You know, like they met when they were kids, they went to middle school and high school together, and eventually, later in their teens, they started dating, and they fell in love, and they ended up getting married. And they stay married for 53 years. They've gone through everything together. But now, it's all starting to fall apart because he's sick. And Ellen will do anything to save him. I mean, she admits him into the intensive care unit at the hospital. She stays with him by his bed 14 hours a day, only leaving to get food or to go sleep at night. She's dedicating her life to saving him. But then she notices that the nurses and doctors don't seem to be treating him well. Like one time, 2 nurses are moving Jerry on the bed and they bump his head on the headboard, and Ellen's like, "Be careful!" And one of the nurses gives her attitude and says, "I guess I won't come into this room anymore." And Ellen doesn't want them to stop showing up, so she has to beg these nurses, saying, "If anything happens to Jerry while I'm gone during the night, please call me." And the nurses are like, "All right." But then the next day, when Ellen comes in, she sees that the nurses had strapped Jerry to the bed. Apparently he had some incident during the night, so they strapped him down, then they just left him there alone. And so Ellen, she gets super pissed off, and she starts arguing with them, like, "Why didn't you call me like I asked? I would have come to help him." And the nurses are like, "It's not our job to call you." And so Ellen is fed up with this hospital staff. She has had enough. So she calls a private nursing company and hires a paid nurse to come watch Jerry during the night while Ellen is asleep. So this should help. However, a few weeks later, Ellen finds that the nurse she hired to watch Jerry during the night is literally sleeping on the job. And so Ellen argues with the hospital nurses again, like, "Why didn't you tell me the paid nurse was sleeping while she was supposed to be watching my husband?" And these nurses are like, "Once again, it's not our job." And so at this point, Ellen doesn't know what to do. She can't get the help for Jerry that she needs. Meanwhile, Jerry's condition just keeps getting worse. He's getting sicker and sicker, and at this point, he can barely eat, he can barely speak, and then one day, the worst thing happens. Jerry finally breaks the news to Ellen. He tells her, "I'm not making it out of the hospital." And then he tells her, "I just want the suffering to end." And then he looks at Ellen and he asks her, "Will you please end it for me?" And of course, poor Ellen, she doesn't know what to do. She can't unalive Jerry, then he'll be gone and she'll go to prison. So Ellen and Jerry spend weeks discussing it, and finally they come up with a plan. After living together for 53 years, they decide that they're gonna die together. And they agree that she is gonna use their pistol to unalive him and then herself, which is just heavy. And so eventually the big day comes. The day they talked about, the day they planned for, their last day on this earth. And Ellen shows up to the hospital like she always does, but this time she's got Jerry's old pistol. She snuck it in. So she walks into Jerry's room, she sits down, she shows it to him, and she asks him, "Are you sure?" And Jerry, he can barely speak, but he indicates that yes, he is sure. So then Ellen points it at him, and she pulls the trigger. But of course, it's not over, because she now has to do herself. Meanwhile, there's a nurse nearby, and he hears this gunshot, and he's like, "What the f*** was that?" And he runs into Jerry's room, and he can see what happened. And Ellen is still there, and she's still holding the pistol, and she points it at him, and she's like, "Get out of here, leave me alone." And the nurse is like, "Oh shit," because he thinks she's gonna shoot him. So he runs out of the room, and he yells, "There's a shooter!" And so, of course, everyone freaks out. It's complete chaos now. People are running away, patients and staff are running around trying to evacuate the whole floor, the hospital staff panics, and boom, the whole place goes on lockdown. And so pretty quickly, the police show up, and they bust into the hospital, and they go up to Jerry's room, and there they find Ellen. And she's still sitting down, she's holding the pistol with one hand, and she's holding Jerry's hand with the other. And she appears to be hesitating, because she's trying to decide what she's gonna do. She told Jerry that they would die together. However, doing this to herself is much harder than she initially thought, so she needs a minute. And so she points that pistol at the door so that no one will come in the room while she makes her decision. But police, they don't have any context for any of this. All they see is a woman pointing a pew-pew at them who had just shot and killed a man and who had also threatened a nurse. And they feel like they need to use whatever means necessary to end what they see as a threat. And so now, 76-year-old Ellen is officially in a standoff with police.
Police department. Police department, see your hands! Drop the gun! Drop the gun right now! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Man, hold on. Don't die. Man, tell me what's going on. Tell me what's. I don't want to hurt you. We don't want to hurt you. Tell me what's going on.
And a few hours pass, and they're still in this standoff. And by this point, Ellen has finally made her decision. She's gonna do it. She's gonna unalive herself. And so she goes to do it, and suddenly, boom, a flashbang goes off, which is like a grenade that just creates a flash. And then pow, officers bust into the room. And Ellen is disoriented by the flashbang, and blam, she accidentally shoots the pistol, and the bullet nearly hits an officer, missing by like an inch. And so officers are like, "Oh shit, she's shooting at us!" And they start shooting back at her, and they nearly hit her. So then one officer yells out, "Please, ma'am, I have young children." And Ellen's like, "Why the hell do I care? Why are you telling me about your children?" And that is when she finally realizes that police think she is a threat to them. And Ellen never wanted to hurt anyone in all this. And so she drops the pistol to the floor, and she raises her hands, and she surrenders. And so, bam, police arrest her. Here they are wheeling her out of the hospital with her hands all zip-tied. Also, here's her mugshot. And so here's where everything gets complicated, as if it wasn't complicated before. Even though Jerry wanted to die and he asked to be shot, Ellen gets charged with first-degree murder for shooting him. And they're trying to throw her in prison for life. And so she goes to trial for all this. And here in the courtroom, you can actually see how, old and non-threatening she looks. And so in court, she explains that she was just fulfilling her husband's dying wish. And the judge seems to sympathize with her. But, you can't be shooting a pistol in a hospital, like pointing it at the staff and stuff. And so, after all that, Ellen gets sentenced to 1 year in prison.
Yo, what a story, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The judge probably felt for her, because 1 year in prison is not bad at all.
This 23-year-old Ukrainian woman fled a country at war to live a safer and better life in the United States. But recently, one evening heading home after work, her life was ended in the worst possible way. The horrifying incident occurred on the 22nd of August in Charlotte, but security footage of what actually happened was just released for the first time. It was 9:46 p.m. and the video shows a very normal looking train with everyone minding their own business, talking, or on on their phone. But there's one man in a red hoodie identified as DeCarlos Brown looking restless and agitated. Around 30 seconds later, Irena Zaretska gets on the train wearing a cap and a t-shirt from a pizzeria and sits in front of DeCarlos. She has AirPods in and just like everyone else is minding her own business and using her phone. Now it remains this way for the next 4 minutes until DeCarlos can be seen randomly taking out a pocket knife, standing up, and completely unprovoked stabbing Irena several times from behind. She didn't even have a chance to see the attack coming. Now, as for the attacker, DeCarlos Brown actually has a history of violent crime and mental illness. He's been arrested multiple times and even served a 5-year prison sentence for robbery with a deadly weapon. To make matters worse, he wasn't even supposed to be allowed on the train that night because he didn't have a ticket. Police detained him just hours after the attack and he has since been charged with first-degree murder. As for the other passengers on board, some told local news that they were traumatized by what they saw and that they don't know how long it'll be before they're able to use public transportation again.
Well, if any of the other videos didn't scar y'all forever, that one definitely did. Imagine just being on a train by yourself, chilling, you know what I'm saying, on your phone. You know what I'm saying? Your parents or your mom just texted you or something. The next thing you know, you're getting freaking in your neck 7 different times by a random. Hell no, dude. If y'all got this far in the video, like the video so you can get pushed to more people. I'm trying to grow this empire, bro. So, I love y'all, man. Peace out.
Thank you all for watching this here video.